Welcome to Heard in the D. I'm your girl, the comedian Simona Lisa, and we have
Jay Reed 313. You can catch me all over the city. A lot of breaking news going on right now. It's a sad day in America, as we would say. The democracy was challenged. We were literally almost had an ex-president, presidential candidate taken away from us prematurely.
You know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. Let's move.
you said it was sad.
It was sad because honestly, I don't believe in violence as far as in politics, like either side. Like everybody knows, Donald Trump is not my favorite person in the world. I'm definitely not somebody I would vote for. Definitely not somebody I would support. But honestly, or whatever, somebody taking a shot at his life is just a little too much.
Yeah.
Uh,
That part.
from what we have, the information is out now. It's a guy by the name of Thomas Matthew Crook. He was a 20-year-old guy from Pennsylvania, registered Republican. And from the clips and what the whole internet is saying, they literally show him climbing on a roof. And you know, with the president, you got the Secret Service, you got local police, you got state police all out there. And the clip even shows people telling them, like, it's a guy on the roof with a rifle. Like, and their reaction time was just so slow. And he actually let a shot off or a few shots off at the president, maybe, and he clipped him in the ear. And part of
Supposedly, it may
yeah,
have been a piece
maybe
of shattered
right,
glass.
right
from
on
the
the
stand.
ricochet shot or something like that.
But
And
he was just barely nicked. On
yeah,
the
he
ear.
just barely nicked or whatever. He was fine. I'm pretty sure he probably went to the hospital and probably got it like taped up or something. It didn't even look like it was that serious of a thing. But the main thing with this is like the violence in politics. We don't really want that. We don't want candidates eliminated because if Donald Trump would have died, next time he becomes a martyr. And then it becomes a situation where people will look at him like, oh, he's so grand, he's so great. They had to stop him in his movement. And no, we want the election to go, and we want people to vote for or to vote against him, and make a choice that way, not like this.
Right.
This is definitely not what we want as a country, and I just don't understand how it can get to this point. It's above me because the white on white violence is Republican on Republican violence because the guy was a registered Republican voter. And some people, the internet is obviously saying that it might have been staged, it might have been a setup, like, you know,
Well, didn't they unalive him?
who?
The shooter.
The shooter, yeah, they killed the shooter.
So yeah,
Right there.
that's not an act right there. You know, yeah.
Yeah, they killed the shooter right on the spot, which, you know, a lot of conspiracy theories going out, like was it something that was set up by, you know, maybe Donald Trump and his campaign? Also condolences because an innocent bystander was struck by a bullet and they died on the spot. So that person, you know, is not here anymore, totally innocent. And there's so many things going around. It's Donald Trump, like after it happened, you know, he did his little fight little speech, and a lot of people look at it like, oh, is this really something that was maybe made up or something that was staged or rigged? You know, it's a
I would
super,
hate for it to have been a stage.
it could be staged.
People lost their lives.
It's a super close election or whatever. Anything is possible. I mean, when you thinking about the power of the presidency of the United States, people will do anything to get that title. And nobody knows the whole details of all this right now. This is all breaking news. It's all the facts are still just coming out. But as a country, this can't be like I've seen like a lot of Democrats or whatever kind of champion is like it was a good thing or whatever. I've seen people on both sides, like you have Republicans that saying, oh, they're trying to stop him and kill him so he don't become president. You got Democrats or whatever saying, well from January 6th, when that insurrection came, this is what he deserves. Well, nobody deserves violence. And
And then you have me saying that I hope he's not another Jesse Smollett from Empire. trying to trick us with this whole thing and it just went left. Because everything done in the dark comes to light. So if it was done, like you said, staged,
All right.
we will find out.
Yeah, I'll put anything past Donald Trump and Republicans and just people that's trying to, to maintain the power and the control of this country.
Yeah.
It's one of the wildest stories. Like, I mean, in my lifetime or whatever, how many presidential assassination attempts have we had? I remember Ronald Reagan, maybe that's the last one, maybe, right? That really got to that point where it was actually shots fired and things like that.
Yeah. Well, on a brighter topic, we did have Biden here
Yeah,
at Renaissance. Okay, Renaissance, and that was so close to me. I'm mad that I missed it. Not that I probably would have been able to be in attendance. I'm sure you had to register way in advance, but we have a clip.
Good evening, Detroit, and good evening, Michigan. Don't you quit. I'm not.
Now, why do y'all think the crowd? Well, why do you think the crowd was chanting?
for Biden.
Mm-hmm.
I think most Democratic candidates and presidents, they do really well in Detroit. I mean, we're a Democratic city. I mean, we're a city mostly of black people. So I think, I think they actually want them to win, to be honest. I mean, I think really like black people in Detroit, like even though we have our local rappers and people of that nature, whatever, kind of going for Trump, but I think a lot of people really in the city really want Biden to win or whatever. They kind of want to maintain what we got going on. Biden has been here quite a bit during his presidency and this
And he's just
campaign.
been quiet, if you ask me. He hasn't really done much. He's been quiet, and I like quiet because I'm not afraid of any bombs from Russia or other countries that you might pick on because they didn't like your Instagram or they followed you on Twitter. So I like being able to be at peace, knowing that our president is trying to keep the peace.
Right. I feel like Biden, the way he moves or whatever, he's not really trying to ruffle many feathers. I think the other candidate, Trump, I think his mindset is chaos. I think he likes chaos. I think he likes craziness. I think he likes everything to be all over the place. And I think Biden and most people in the government would like for things to kind of keep rolling the way that they are.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking of crazy and chaotic and chaos, Hurricane Beryl, am I saying that right?
Hurricane, bro.
Hit Texas with a vengeance. So we have a little clip from what's going on over there. Now, our prayers and condolences are just out for everyone. We see that there's 2 million without power, and it's been for over a week now.
Yeah, it's massive flooding down there. I've seen lots of videos, and I know a few people that live down there. A lot of people were without power, and it's certain cities or whatever where it seems like these kind of things continually happen.
Texas,
like
I don't think I've
Texas.
ever heard of something this severe happening in Texas.
I think they're not accustomed to like the weather changes like we are. I feel like
Right.
Michigan and other states or whatever, I think we're a little bit better prepared for like when we have like natural disasters and tragedies and stuff. I think Texas and maybe New Orleans and some of those other states is like they have things happen and it's like it's the first time anything has ever happened to them. Because when I looked at like the people like in boats going through the water and it's like
In residential areas.
it's like right, everybody's out of power. Then you gotta remember Houston, Texas, right about now, it's gotta be like 100+ degrees down there. So it's like you don't have any power. You got all this water coming up from the sewers, you got sewer water everywhere, you got no electricity. So it's pretty hard to maintain it and it becomes, chaotic and people, they start to panic and all wild things go on or whatever. And then when you have lawless situations like that, people generally take advantage. That's when you start to get the loot. You start getting people panicking, going crazy, whatever, trying to make a way when the government really can't even reach out to everybody and help everybody. So we pray for those people, and we pray that the situation is cleared up and rectified as soon as possible.
Yes, y'all are definitely in our prayers and in our thoughts. And I just hope this is the last of weather like this for you all.
Yeah, so with that, like one of the questions was like, is it like more climate change or is it like just weather patterns or whatever? You think it might have something to do with like
The global
the
warming
global
effects.
warming, like, cause from, they say, every year it's getting hotter and hotter all over, the ice caps melting and things like that, sea levels going up and down in different places. So is this something that we should expect where we get these extreme like weather situations all over the coastal area? Cause that's generally where it always happens, like the coastal areas of the country or whatever, where they get the storms, the hurricanes, the tornadoes and stuff like that coming in and destroying it. And then it's like they rebuild, and then maybe 4 or 5 years later, another tragedy like this happens again. Is this something that we should expect? I remember like years ago or whatever, one of my teachers would always say, sooner or later, California is gonna just fall into the ocean or whatever. And they show like mudslides and houses coming down and
Sinkholes, there's just so much going on.
like they talk about the whatever San Andreas fault out in California, and then you wonder like, should you even be building property on a coastline like that or whatever? Because most people that live on the coastline, these $1 million plus houses, and if they slide into the ocean, they're not worth anything.
Not a cent. I'm concerned about what's happening and what's not happening because here living in Michigan, when was the last time we had some real snow?
Yeah, snow. I remember 30 plus years ago, it was like snow would just be like a thing from like maybe right after Halloween all the way to like maybe
February.
February, March or whatever. You get heavy snowfall.
I never had to question if we were going to have a white Christmas or if it was going to snow. Because, like you said, like literally Thanksgiving up until February or like right after Halloween-ish,
Right.
right up until February, it's snow. Hands down, point blank, we know it's coming. Lately, these last few years, it's like, like I want to buy a snowblower so bad, but the amount of snow we have before I go out to shovel it, it's then melted away.
Right, yeah. You think about it, like, yeah, white Christmas, like pretty much a thing of the past now. Like when we think about Christmas or whatever, I think about like, yeah, it's a little chilly, it's a little cold, but you don't really have to deal with snow like we used to. Like I really remember like snowball fights and really being outside on Christmas and actually, being on sleds and just actually being outside in the snow. Now it's like, it's a little cold. We don't really look for snow to what, maybe January now?
And then it doesn't last long. It's done by
Yeah,
February.
February,
Valentine's Day.
yeah, March come or whatever. By the time St. Patty's Day come, what is that?
It's raining.
Yeah, it's raining or whatever. We like, oh, it's raining already. So I don't know. Maybe it's a different world we're living in because it's been pretty hot all over the country. We've had like heat waves all over the place. So maybe it's a different world we live into.
It's a different world, but a lot of things are staying the same, like the same subject that just keeps going, and it's like the Energizer button. Why can't white people say the M word?
You have African American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't.
So say it.
Say what?
Say the word you want to say.
I'm not saying that I want to say it. I'm just saying that I can't.
Sure you can. Say it. Say it right now. I will say it with you.
Okay, this is hypocritical. You know we can't.
Sure you can. This is America. Both of you. Say it.
All right, I think we can move on.
Why? Why move on when you want to say it? Both of you want to say it. Huh?
Me personally, and y'all can take it however y'all want, I don't care. Because a word does nothing to me or for me. And the fact that someone thinks they can say it and I'm all of a sudden fly off the handle is absurd to me. Like, I don't care who says it. You just said a word and you only proven that you are the word more so than I am because you saying it, trying to hurt somebody that you probably don't even know. Because if you knew me, you know I'd bust up. I mean, if you knew me, you knew that I wouldn't like you saying that.
Yeah, the craziest story happened to me yesterday. I was on my way home from work, stopping at a gas station. I had on an Ice Cube t-shirt. So a drunken guy right across from a white guy, whatever, he sees me, he's like, oh, I fucking love Ice Cube, whatever. He made that song, Cop Killer. It's Ice-T, bro. But okay, I get what you're sentiment or whatever. You really trying to relate to me. We fine. So he was like, yeah, and Ice Cube, he made the song with James Addiction back in the day, and it was called N-word, 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 whitey, whitey,
He
whitey.
actually said the word.
He said the word to me, and I was like, huh, that's what today is or whatever. I was like, you know what, God is God is gonna give me grace today or whatever, because I didn't even react. Like you said, I wasn't like offended. I didn't go off. I was
Because
like,
then you start acting like an N-word. I mean,
Exactly.
you're not about to get me to act like an N-word because you said it.
and I said that I was thinking, I was like, at the end of the day, he was really just trying his best to describe something to me. He was trying to have a bond and a connection with me, whatever. He wasn't saying it with any kind of malice. And I was like, that's a little inappropriate. He was like, I don't mean it like that. I was like, okay. I was like, just have a great day or whatever. He was like, yeah, bro.
The bro probably
bro was
heard
hurting.
it in the N-word. Like,
That's what got me.
we ain't got to say, mama.
Right. I was like, bro, I was like, man, you have a great day. But it's like you said, at the end of the day,
It's just
like,
a word.
it's a word, and you can't control my emotions. You can't take me out of my character just by saying a word to me that some people might find offensive. Some people might find something that like, oh, it's a trigger word. And my mindset is like, if you let somebody control your emotions, you let them control you.
Exactly. He who angers you controls you. But I know a lot of it is probably stemming from the baddies because they have a white American on there who says the N-word, but she says it in like not a racist way because she says she has black children. So, that means, she dipped into the water of the blackness.
Right.
But the way the women attack her, I'm like, y'all are willing to go to jail for assault just because she keeps saying the word.
Exactly.
And I'm like, it'll never, like, just seeing it was an eye opener because I didn't always feel that way. Like, I don't care, it's just a word, until I seen how often they attacked her behind just saying the word. So, to sum that up, let's just let it go. Now, I would prefer it if no one said it,
Right.
or especially if it's not said with the ER from one race to another, or even the same race. Don't add the ER.
Right.
But moving forward, let's just stop with fighting over the N-word.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are back with more speculations from none other than my girl, your girl, everybody girl, Jaguar Wright. Now, because of my love for Lauren London, I don't really have much to say on that, so we're gonna cut to the clip first.
At the studio, finishing up a late night session. We want to just invite everybody to be a part of a glorious weekend because it's official. My brother is putting out the album Victory Lap. Yeah. It's the All-Star Weekend here in LA. Yeah. Love is back.
Girl, if y'all thought we had uncovered all the bodies in Diddy's closet, well then I got some piping hot tea for you. You see, for years there has been speculation about Diddy taking out Nipsey to further his own agenda, but that's not the worst of it. Apparently, he might have used Lauren London to get his way, and I know it seems like folks will say anything at this point, but we got Jaguar Wright and her canon of truth spitting the facts, and according to her, London did work for Diddy. Heck, she continued to work for him even after he put his hands on his sister, not to forget that she was super close with Cassie, so there's a high chance that she was in on everything. So how exactly did Lauren and Diddy set up Nipsey? And is Lauren really a plant? Jaguar Wright enters the picture. According to her, Holder is not the man people should be burning at the altar. You see, according to Jaguar, Nipsey was set up by Lauren, who was actually working for Diddy.
Dang. All of your fucking secret meetings with Diddy and y'all fucking knew that they put Lauren on him. See, I know Lauren London. Lauren London used to sing backgrounds for me back in the day. You didn't know that, did you?
Hell no, I didn't know that.
Lauren London used to be one of my background singers. She fell in love with my keyboard player. His name is Omar Edwards. Omar went on to play for Jay-Z after me, after leaving my band. Omar Edwards got Lauren London on to American Idol, which put her in position to meet Nipsey, and then she dumped Omar, who loved her madly, for Nipsey out of nowhere. all those Spin Diddy parties. All of the support that Snoop has for Honeycomb. You've been moving niggas out the way, Snoop, allegedly. But you fucked up when you fucked with Nip. Y'all all fucked up when you fucked with Nip. Moved him out of the way because he was about to give Dr. Sabi to the world all over again, just like Lisa Left Eye Lopez tried to do damn near 30 years ago. Y'all niggas ain't slick.
Now, I'm just, it's like 1 + 1 is just not adding up. Diddy over Nipsey? Nip.
Not Diddy over Nipsey. Nipsey was out of the way. He was gone. It was R.I.P.
But I mean, the setup though, the speculation of the setup was that they moved Nipsey out the way so that she can be. I'm just, the way Nipsey was and the cool, calm, collective man that he was, I don't think that there was no amount of love that he had for Lauren London that would have made her stay with him. Like she could have just been like, I want to be with Diddy. Like y'all ain't have to take him out in the prime of his life, in his hustle.
I mean, a lot of stuff is, behind the scenes. We don't know everything that happened.
He would have let that girl go. Because there was a lot of us, me, myself, who were all waiting for him when it was over. So he ain't have no disrespect. I'm just saying, if this story was true, that's how I feel, Laura. Like, now he was on you.
You got to think about it. A lot of times or whatever, it's better to get rid of somebody than live in the same world with them. Sometimes people, the love leaves. Sometimes the love ain't there like it was. Sometimes people do things to you that you just can't forgive or can't take back. I mean, obviously, like you said, Nipsey was a very popular guy, had a lot of women that were very attracted to him. Who knows? Maybe he dipped in a couple of those pools or whatever, and she just couldn't accept it and couldn't take it. I find, Jaguar Wright is a treasure trove of rumors, so she's totally entertaining. Whether it's true, whether it's not true, whatever, it's going to be entertaining. So who knows? I mean, at this point in time, we know that Diddy is capable of anything. And Diddy is very persuasive, and Diddy has no problem spending money. Diddy has no problems moving pieces on the board for his favor. So maybe he got in her ear. Maybe
Diddy was a little slow, and Laura said something like, as long as Nipsey is alive, I'd never be with another man. Maybe it was misconstrued that way, but I just don't believe that she had any involvement. Now, if Diddy did something, that's on Diddy.
Right.
So I'm sorry, Jaguar, but 1 to 10, 10 being this is absolutely the truth, and 1 being this is some absolute BS. I'm going to put you at a 2, my love. I'm going to put you at a 2.
I'm going to put it at a 7 because Diddy is a very powerful
I'm saying, even if Diddy, but do you really think that Lauren was in on it? And they have a baby together.
I don't know. Part of me, like, Lauren London ain't this angel that you try to make her out to be or whatever. I remember she also has a baby by a guy by the name of Lil Wayne or whatever, who, everybody knows.
Who was my favorite rapper. So what you trying to say about what?
Lil Wayne.
That's why, this all wrapped up in one. I know about her and how she got a baby by my future, by Lil Wayne. I know about that.
A little sketch himself or whatever. So
I say, who, what?
Lil Wayne's a little sketch.
He ain't even been on the lean in a long time. So what we not going to do is talk about my baby, Lil Wayne.
You already gonna talk about like
baby. We're gonna put some respect on his name. He has come a long way.
Lil Wayne cut those dreads or whatever he got sticking out his head or whatever.
He got his ears sticking out his head. Because me and Ray Janae both go hard for him. I love his daughter too.
But yeah, definitely it's one of those wild stories that time will tell.
Now another wild story that is actually more convincing, and on that scale of 1 to 10, 1 being absolute BS and 10 being this is the absolute truth. I'm gonna get this a 9.5, and that's Wendy Williams' son. Hold on, somebody else want to be on the podcast. Wendy Williams' son, Kevin Jr., is suing Ray J for drugging her. Let's see that clip.
OMG, Kevin Jr. is on a rampage, taking revenge on anyone who messed with his mom, Wendy Williams, and this time Ray J is in the hot seat. You all know about his messy relationship with Wendy, but Kevin Jr. is holding Ray J responsible for Wendy's health issues. Kevin Hunter allegedly stated that Ray J was the one who made Wendy a drug addict, supplying her with drugs all the time. So it's a huge mess, and Kevin Jr. isn't holding back. He's suing Ray J for drugging Wendy Williams.
Oh, we clipped up today.
That-
So, Ray J did date Wendy Williams. We all know that. He dated quite a few people. I mean, Wendy is not as shocking to me as Whitney Houston, that is. Now, that was weird.
That was
This is just, heck yeah, who goes from Bobby Brown to... I mean, let's just
Whitney
get to the
Houston
story
did.
at hand. So anyway, Ray J, he done been from the Kardashians. So anyway, listen,
Yeah,
my ADHD and stuff is getting to me. Ray J and Wendy Williams.
definitely.
I just don't.
You don't see it as a match?
So no, I just don't see it as a druggable match. Like she should have been happy to bust away. I mean, let me try to keep this as professional.
Wendy Williams has dated many successful guys in Hollywood. A lot of people don't know she dated Method Man at one point, which a lot of you women love Method Man nowadays. So Wendy Williams was.
Don't say a lot. It's all of us.
Thank you. So
Ready?
Wendy Williams
Again, white.
Wendy Williams probably got some kind of pull or whatever. So she pulled Method Man. She pulled Ray J.
Ooh, I don't know how she did that, but baby, how you doing?
Money talks, but it walks.
How you doing?
So at the end of the day, I think Ray J at that time, Ray J obviously has an affinity for drugs, older women, successful women. So I can see it being a match made in heaven. Did he introduce drugs to Wendy Williams? Maybe. She was going through a lot with her husband. Her husband was
That would be embarrassing because he's so much older than her.
Who?
Ray J.
Oh, well.
So I mean, how do you let someone so young influence you to go so crazy?
Well, you know what?
And then Ray J hasn't even been exposed for, well, not recently here for drug use like she has. Like she's been seen like really clocked out. Like eyes, like it's been bad.
Yeah, I think everybody in Hollywood is on drugs. I think with Ray J or whatever, from the Kim Kardashian and sex tape that made her popular, he was obviously piping these women down and giving them something that they need, giving them
That's what
something
I'm
they
saying.
can
Why
feel.
would he have had to drug her? Or is it more so just that her son feels like he started her out on drugs? Is that what
Probably
they
so.
think
He probably took her down a path. A lot of people when they have sex.
If
they
you watch the
already-
Wendy Williams show, she tells you that she was already on that path before she even had her son.
So Ray J probably speeded the path for
So you
Ray
trying to sue her for something that happened before you was born, and you and Ray J about the same age, so he couldn't have did it back then.
Ray J probably was like, you know what? You like cocaine? I got this thing called Molly, ecstasy, perk, Xanax, and about 1 million other drugs that I.
And she has a right to say no.
Yeah, she does have a right to say no, and this lawsuit will be tossed out.
I'm sure it will.
Because we all have free will, and like you said, Wendy Williams probably had already experimented with certain drugs anyway. Wendy Williams seemed like the type of person that was led by men, like her husband. Her husband, Kevin Sr. or whatever. He was a guy that he was getting money as her manager, as a producer of her show or whatever. And besides being a Wendy Williams manager and a producer herself, he never had any other contacts in Hollywood. So it seems like she was susceptible to men leading her down what we would call paths of destruction.
Right.
So I can see Ray J doing that, and Ray J, he was slinging that thing.
Yeah, we all saw what he was capable of doing.
Right, Ray J. Ray J was like Bill Clinton or whatever. Had sex with me, you'll become famous. Because we didn't know who Kim Kardashian was before Ray J was having his way with her on sex tapes.
And what was Bill Clinton's wife? Monica Lewinsky?
Yeah, Monica Lewinsky or whatever.
Didn't know who she was
Didn't know
until
who
she
she
stained
was.
that dress.
Right, stained that dress and kept it for how many years to keep it, to make sure she had proof. So, which to say less and say more or whatever, like penis makes the world go round.
You ain't see what I did. You ain't see what I did when I said stained that dress. And I was like, until she had that name on that dress. Okay. But no, a more valid story circulating is my girl Taraji P. Henson, another one that I am a huge fan of. So watch your mouth. When you warn you, watch your mouth, because I'm going to stand on business.
About to go crazy.
Now, Oprah, you paid those young ladies that are new to acting and new to stardom more money than you paid a seasoned vet. And from one vet to another, I just knew that you would have had a better plan and a better purpose. But let's watch the clip.
Years in the game, and I hear the same thing, and I see what you do for another production, and when it's time for us to go to bed, you don't have any money.
About this whole Taraji, I heard I was trending yesterday.
because people are saying that I was not supporting Taraji. Taraji will tell you herself.
Behind the facade of empowerment, Oprah Winfrey's empire is rocked by accusations of systemic unfair pay practices towards black actresses, with Taraji P. Henson leading the charge. Even industry giants like Denzel Washington and 50 Cent have rallied behind the women, casting doubt on the authenticity of Oprah's carefully cultivated image as a champion of women. The interview took an emotional turn when King asked Henson if she was considering leaving acting, a question that struck a chord with the actress. "I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious about what I do, and getting paid a fraction of the cost," Henson confessed, her voice trembling with emotion.
When it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again like I never did what I just did, and I'm just tired.
No. I'm glad that she's finally stepping up. I wish she'd have did it back when Monique was doing it, because I think they would have made a bigger impact. There's more power in numbers. But now the Monique's fight has died down. Now here comes Taraji ready to take the reins. And all I'm saying is, ladies, don't give up. Keep fighting, because it's going to be only a matter of time for these new young stars are in your shoes wondering why they getting paid less than a new young teeny bopper that's just came out. So keep fighting. Fight for more.
For more for what? For what?
Because she's worth it. She is definitely worth it.
She is not worth it. Nobody wants to see Taraji P. Henson. Nobody is going to see a Taraji P. Henson movie and say, "Oh, I want to go see Taraji P. Henson." Nobody. They could have made 100%. They could have made
ghetto voice. Are you serious?
100. They could have made The Color Purple without Taraji P. Henson, and nobody would have cared. Nobody would have shed a tear.
I disagree.
100%.
She was one of the reasons why I went. So I disagree.
You are a Taraji P. Henson fan.
Because me,
unlike most
also
of
today
the
is like get on my nerves day, because that's where you at. So I'm about to ask you to go outside. We got to square up, because that's because you tripping.
Won't be the first fight.
And I warned you. That's the thing. I warned you before we even got started. Before the camera even came on, I already told you that I was a Taraji P. Henson fan. You still gonna left like that, like you was just holding it up, waiting to explode. You better get back on track.
No, nobody's
y'all. We're gonna have to take a break or something.
Nobody's checking for her. Nobody cares. It's 10.
I was on nobody.
It's 10 actresses in Hollywood that could have played that role, and they probably would have done it for less than the 150 to 300,000 that she got.
Because I promise y'all, when he come back, I'm gonna be dying.
No,
because let me tell you what you go ahead.
She should have never accepted the job if she didn't want to get paid what she get paid. Every job you get or whatever, you get the contract, you get paid beforehand. They tell you how much they're gonna pay you.
Listen here, bro.
All she has to say is no.
Listen here, Broham. She is doing this for all the young black aspire. No, not even just black.
She can't be doing it for the young black actresses because she is young.
It's time to make the payment fair is what she's fighting for. Make sure the payment is fair.
Color Purple would have been successful without Taraji P. Henson. We could have threw Thea on there or whoever. We could have threw the lady from Family Matters. It don't matter who. We could have just grabbed some lady on the street.
Her voice was also utilized in there.
And The Color Purple would have been still The Color Purple. Nobody would have cared.
But I think the biggest thing, on a more serious note, I think the biggest thing with Taraji P. Henson is she has been getting screwed around in this industry for years, all the way back to before her Hustle and Flow days, especially Hustle and Flow. Because it took Terrence Howard getting on the big screen talking about how they wrote that song that they didn't write it, but they sung it and performed it, and they got nothing from it.
Right.
Because they put the artist of that song as the characters on the movie. They did not put Terrence Howard and Taraji P. Henson.
Right, so
it's hard out here for a pimp. And we listened to that song faithfully.
Exactly.
Like it was a real song because it was on the soundtrack. But it was the names that they were as the stars, and they don't own those names. They didn't create those names or those characters. So they basically got screwed. And she didn't get the accolades that I feel like she should have received from Benjamin Button. Right. I hate that Oprah is, the one at the end of the rope who has to deal with the backlash, but she's just finally like, I'm done. Like she didn't even get the rise like she should have received from all her work in Empire.
I think, but I think
she speaks on that often.
Right, and I think this comes to a thing that I want to bring up or whatever. It's contracts and it's negotiations.
You're right.
I'll tell y'all a little story. You know, people have heard the story, but I'll reiterate the story. As a kid, Jason Weaver, whatever, he's been an actor for years. He had the role of singing for the Lion King. They offered
And he did Michael
right.
Jackson.
They offered his family
A lot.
$2 million period for the whole role. His mother negotiated, but they got royalties for eternity. So he got much more than $2 million. So the thing is, when you go into these contracts and you go into these negotiations, know your worth and demand your worth before you sign a contract. Because after you sign a contract or whatever, it's no negotiations. If The Color Purple makes $1 billion, Oprah's not busting out that $1 billion. She's going
To
to get
say,
all of
oh,
it.
it's not in the contract, but here you go, because it's what you paid.
So you have to get your contracts. We've ran businesses, we've ran parties, we've done things. I used to promote a lot of parties. If I get a rapper to come in and I give him $150, but somehow he decides to bring $3,000 worth of money to the party, I'm still getting that $150, buddy, and that's that. So I think her problem isn't in what she's getting paid; it's what she's negotiating up front. And what you also said when she did Empire, that's probably the hottest she's ever been in her life, right?
No, she had quite a few.
No, I'm saying, but
yeah, that was her
the
latest.
hottest.
That was
But
her latest.
That's the hottest Taraji P. has
Yeah.
been in the world. You supposed to piggyback off that.
And she spoke on that. That's why she
Right.
fired her whole management team.
Exactly. So
That's why I was saying Oprah kind of got the bottom end of it, and not to mention she was in Monique's rant. She was in her scope of anger
Right.
because of how she did her. So it was just natural. Like now that you're coming up against Taraji P. Henson, which, like you said, she could have passed to someone else and you could have got nothing.
Right.
Like you was just sitting around twiddling your thumbs. So I get that aspect of it, but I am glad that she's finally willing to go against the grain.
All right. So one of the biggest topics in sports right now, because you know it's really the down season for sports or whatever. It's just baseball. It's no football. It's really no basketball. You got the Olympics coming up, but nobody's really paying attention to that. Right now, the biggest phenomenon in sports right now is Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. The way she's treated, how the whole world fell in love with her from college basketball, how she got to the pros. People feel like in the pros, she's being treated differently. She's been targeted. Some people even want to think maybe it's a race thing.
Clark's treatment by other players on the court is just getting to be egregious. Because as we saw Trinity Carter, she hip-checked Caitlin Clark from behind, at the same time calling her the B word. You could see Angel Reese over on the sideline cheering. This is treatment that Caitlin Clark is receiving for very specific reasons. I think we really need to focus on the race part of all of this, because I do believe that if Caitlin Clark were this amazing and she were not white, nobody would have an issue with it. They probably would be propping her up, celebrating her greatness. And another question that I keep asking myself when reading the coverage on this is, what would happen if the roles were reversed? What if this was a bunch of white players and there was another player who entered the league of Caitlin Clark's stature and she was black and she was getting this type of treatment? I mean, you can only imagine the outrage that would ensue. But because Caitlin Clark is white, because it's the idea of this reverse racism that people want to turn a blind eye to, nothing's being done about it.
My thing is, I'm seeing a lot of her teammates and a lot of other players target her.
Right.
Which my thing is, you got to think about it, is if it was you, would you be saying, no, don't give me $1 million deals unless you're going to give everybody million? No, you're not going to throw yourself under the bus and sacrifice yourself for people that you don't even know. On top of that, people that you don't even know just hating on you. So I'm like, maybe y'all need to lighten up and realize that it's not her fault she's receiving the level of attention that she's receiving. And yes, maybe if y'all embraced her more and were a little more kind to her, she would join y'all fight to make sure that it was equal across the board. But I don't believe that anyone should harbor any ill feelings towards her because she was put on the pedestal. Like, how many of us will walk down off a pedestal that other people should be on as well? No, you're going to get up there, and then hopefully once you get as far as you can get or get to a good position, you can help others. And I hope that's what she plans on doing.
Right. At the end of the day, Caitlin Clark deserves every single endorsement, every single opportunity, every single thing that she gets. But what a lot of people don't realize with these WNBA women, that they've been playing basketball for years. They're athletes, they're competitors. So
with no recognition.
Right. So they're going to go at her. they're going to make her earn it. They're going to make her play and show that she's worth what she's worth. And at the end of the day, she's actually playing very well. She's showing that she's a very capable young
That
lady.
she deserves the accolades
She
that
deserves
bestowed upon her.
everything she get. And like you said, nobody's turning down any kind of opportunities just given to them or whatever, which nobody actually says that she should. But the problem that I get and a lot of people get is, okay, well, they're treating her this way, they treating her that way. No, they're treating her like another competitor is on the floor, and we're going to try our very best against her, just like everybody else. I mean, from back in the Detroit Shock days, a lot of people didn't pay attention to them back then when they was in Detroit or whatever. Those women used to be out there fighting. The WNBA is a tougher league than the NBA. They're not friends. These women, like, think about it or whatever. Women are super competitive. They're super active. So to bring race into it or whatever is a little much because it's been situations like the other day, like our rookie competitor for Rookie of the Year, Angel Reese or whatever, had a historic 15-game run of double doubles, and the other team put 4 players on her at the end of the game to make sure she wouldn't get it because they're competitors. They don't want people breaking records against them. They don't want people basically embarrassing them. So we can understand that. So when they go at Caitlin Clark, actually, I think it's more of a sign of respect than it is disrespect because it's like, oh, you're this good or whatever, so we have to take special privileges. It's a thing in Detroit that everybody in Detroit know about from the NBA. There was a thing called the Jordan Rules. The Detroit Pistons said, oh, for us to stop the Chicago Bulls, we're going to have to beat up Michael Jordan. We got to foul him every time. It ain't no layups. It ain't no dunks or whatever. Every time Michael Jordan went to the lane, he got fouled a bunch of times. He learned from it. He played through it. And he overcame it. And that's what they want from Caitlin Clark. They understand that she's going to get privileges. She's going to get endorsements because let's just be honest, it's America.
But prove you deserve
right. WNBA is a black women's league. Most of the players are black women or whatever. The America is a white woman's country or whatever. It's more white people here. That's just simple numbers and facts. It's not even an opinion. So for them to see a white woman come in and dominate and get more accolades than them, and they've been doing it years, it's going to be tension. It's going to be tension.
It's the basic thing. Like when it's something that you are known for doing, and as a stereotype,
right?
Basketball is just a black sport, or it's our sport
for sure.
So when you come into the sport and you're not black, someone that is known, the race that's known to dominate the sport, and you're dominating it anyway.
Yes.
Oh, it's gonna be a big hoopla. The same as which I dislike this royally. But when there's a smart black kid, they like, look at this, look at his grade point average. Look, he's a genius. And it's shocking because we are not known for that. So that's like the biggest thing. And you gotta get over it because it's real juvenile.
Right. We've seen it in different sports. Like we've seen it in tennis with Serena Williams. Serena Williams, African American, obviously whatever, coming to dominate a sport that was normally dominated by
and then you stand out. You stand out.
Tiger Woods coming into the sport dominated by normally white middle-aged men or whatever. He coming to dominate it. So it works both ways, and they had their fair share of struggles emerging through those kind of politics and slight cases of racism. But I mean, I think it's going to make her better, and I think it's going to make everybody, like you said, everybody else in the league. Like you got a lady like A'ja Wilson, who MVP of the league or whatever, 2-time champion or whatever. Before you had the eyes on the sport from Caitlin Clark, she didn't have endorsements. Now she has a Nike shoe.
It's
now
bringing attention,
right.
Positive attention.
Now she has a Gatorade endorsement. Now the WNBA has, charter flights for all of the teams. So with every good thing or whatever, it's a little bad that comes with it. But I think Caitlin Clark has tough skin. I think she'll for the pounds. Yeah, so I think it's good for the sport. There's so many more eyes on the game that anybody who think it's not good is crazy. So definitely, it was one of the great things. So what we about to talk about, we definitely need to have a Detroit segment, right?
That's what's coming up. So they have been having the pop-up block parties. So let's get a clip of that so we can see what we think about this.
We have several people shot the location. We need a unit to make this location. We have one shot in the head.
Police dispatch audio.
Also be advised, there's still an active shooter. Use caution making that location.
A mass shooting at a block party on Detroit's east side. Altogether, 21 people shot. 2 of them fatally.
This is not normal.
It happened Sunday morning around 2:30 on Rossini, not far from Gratiot.
It's so disheartening because in our community, normally it's quiet.
The 2 victims, a 21-year-old man and a 21-year-old woman. The 19 shooting survivors, also young people, ranging in age from 17 to 25, all taken to area hospitals, many of them undergoing surgery.
This type of shooting is not normal, and it's something that we should not sit by and let it continue to happen.
Detroit police processing the scene during much of Sunday. So far, no arrests.
Now, we had 21 people shot with 2 dead. And the Detroit police say they will respond in 20 minutes with a warning to break up the party. They are not interested in regular neighborhood parties or backyard get-togethers this year. So y'all done pretty much messed it up for all of us with this block party. They're asking for help. If these pop-up neighborhood parties are going on in your neighborhood, let the police know. I don't care if it's a positive event, if it looks like everything is going to be okay. The fact that we have 21 people shot and 2 dead at a block party, call the police. They'll be there in 20 minutes. Let's not even wait till it get out of hand.
Right. I think the thing with these parties is not regulated. Is a lot of times when you have events all around the city, you need security, you need insurance, you need to make sure that everybody there is safe. And we have these unregulated pop-up parties and just in the neighborhood, it's really a nuisance. Most of the time they go much later than 10 o'clock. It's a 10 o'clock noise order. It's in Detroit. Nobody ever abides by it, but it is. A lot of times, when you have these parties, you have underage kids out there. You have people, let's just be honest, a lot of people in Detroit carry guns, legally or illegally. And, once you mix that with drinking and drugs, the neighborhood dynamics of people having issues with neighbors or running into people that they don't necessarily like, it becomes situations and problems, and it can't generally be controlled by the crowd. So you need a police presence, you need security. That's why anytime you have an event, in most places they like, okay, well, what kind of insurance you got? What kind of security you got? Mm-hmm. So when you just in the neighborhood, I've driven through these places, and there's people all over the place, and we all know how everybody get when they get a little liquor in them. How everybody get when they get a little I guess they call it a crowd mentality or whatever. You have 30 people from one neighborhood, one block, and they all standing together. You got 5 people on the other side or whatever. That's bad news for everybody involved because who knows how this situation is going to play out. Nobody's taking ass kickings no more. So if somebody come out there and get their ass whooped or whatever, 9 times out of 10, we in the neighborhood, so I'm about to go to my house and go get my gun. I'm about to go shoot everybody here. So they definitely need it. People need to be more aware of, because when I saw what happened with this block party, the one on the east side of Racine or whatever, most of these victims were very, very young people. And we all know as very young people, we make bad decisions. We don't necessarily, our frontal lobes aren't necessarily totally developed yet or whatever. We don't know that we could make a 30-second decision to give us 30 years in jail. And we're not ready for that. Exactly. And a lot of people, they send their kids outside, because when I sit there and I look, I'm like, who's 15 and 16-year-old is outside at 2:30 in the morning, unsupervised, and nobody knows? Lots of people do that, especially in the neighborhood, because people look and they say, well, they're just down the block. What's going to happen down there? Well, things like this happen down the block.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit much. So this summer, we'll try again next summer, but as far as this summer is concerned, there will be no more block parties. My high school tried to have an alumni party, shut down. It was too many people out on the block. Shut down. And this was not a lie. They were there within 20 minutes. I don't know who called, but somebody called and they shut the whole party down. Everybody had to go. So let's try to raise our awareness and keep down the drama, because the Detroit police not playing with y'all. We're going to keep the city safe, okay? Okay.
Definitely.
Now, right now, we want to turn the floor over because a lot of us ladies are saying that there's pee in the dating pool, and today is definitely a day that my co-host over here wants to argue with me on everything. So I'm going to let him have the floor.
I'm ready for this. A lot of women say it's pee in the dating pool, and I feel like it's not pee in the dating pool, it's pee in the choices that these women make. A lot of women, they decide to ignore the red flags. They choose, like, back in the day or whatever, for women to date, and I know this is going to go years back or whatever, they would have to be vetted by fathers and brothers, and they would have to really go through a process before, like, that was like the most dreadful thing you could do as a man. When you meet a girl and you want to go meet her, you got to go pick her up from the house, so you meet her father, you meet her brothers, you meet her uncles, and it's the same from Bad Boys or whatever. You literally are standing right there or whatever, and they're talking to you crazy, and they're going to let you know that if you do something crazy to my daughter or my sister or my cousin or whatever, there's consequences to your actions. But nowadays, women do all the dating themselves, and they don't vet these guys, and they don't ask the proper questions, and they ignore all the red flags, and they look for, like, when you date cute guys or whatever, you get ugly problems. A lot of these women, they don't really understand that. They don't really think about it. They're just like, oh, I'm just here for the ride. I'm here for the fun. It's all this and that. Women decide who they date. So if it's pee in a dating pool, it's coming from the women.
I just have a quick question, because you said when you date cute guys, you get ugly problems. What happens when you date ugly guys?
You get uglier problems. Don't date them either or whatever. They the worst too or whatever, because it's nothing worse than a woman dating an ugly guy and he think he cute or whatever, and he treats you worse than the cute guys. It's all about the process of elimination. It's the red flags are always there. We see them, we ignore them. I'm a guy, I date women all the time. And I will
You be putting up red flags.
I will stuff those red flags in my pocket for a big booty and a size 36 double D. I've done it. I'm going to probably do it later on today. It just happens. But women, I feel like women have more to lose in dating situations because it's worse for them. I think it's worse for women dating than it is for men. Because men, we can excuse ourselves from situations easier. Like women, some of these guys y'all might date, they might be a little crazy, they might be stalkers. You give them too much information. I've known women that dated guys one time or whatever, and you show up at their job and act crazy like they've been married for 20 years. So women need to be more selective than men, I think. And women are the ones that complain about dating all the time. Men don't complain about dating.
No, I disagree.
You think men complain about dating?
I hear men complain about dating all the time, but it's just not that many men who have a leg to stand on to complain.
Thank
You have to understand that you are in the minority when it comes to successful men. There are not a lot of them in the Black race for us to even choose from. A lot of them still live with their moms. So how can you complain about dating when you don't even have a place to take a young lady? Now, like I said, when I say minority, there are not a lot of men with their own house, car, job, taking care of their responsibilities, don't hold back child support, and don't have warrants and on the run, can actually get a license, stuff like that.
Right.
So they don't complain, but the others do, the ones that living, backpack to backpack trying to find somewhere to screw the night away. Those, they complain.
Homosexuals.
Yes. And we're dealing with a lot of men who have really bad mommy issues.
Right.
Really bad mommy issues. So we don't just get to date. We have to also raise. Like they want us to let them feel their security their mother never made them feel. Like we gonna stay and we ain't going nowhere no matter what they do. And they do a lot. They do a lot just to see how much we can take. I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't take nothing. I can't take nothing. Cause I got my own house, my own car, my own crib, my own job, house, car, crib. Well, crib was in there twice. But anyway, I take care of myself, so I don't need to do nothing for $40. Like it takes a lot to motivate me to bust it open, because I don't need nothing. So it's like, what I'm busting it open for? Like, what are you guaranteeing? Like, is this gonna be like a movie making scene that we about to do right here? Because if it's not, then I don't even have no reason to bust nothing open or risk my pH balance being off.
But yeah, it goes to the point where in my illustrious dating career, I can also say it's probably been maybe 3-4 times ever that a woman has asked me on a date first. It's always me asking a woman for a date, her accepting a date, and we go on a date.
And those few times where you were asked, were they older women?
They were definitely older women. I was being taken advantage of, probably groomed. But the point is, women make
They first weren't even older than him. While he's talking about some people getting groomed, they was just older than 20.
Yeah, like 27 or something.
Yeah, grooming.
Way too late. Way too old. But at the end of the day, women, y'all really have the keys and the access to everything. So when you date men that's not on your level, men that aren't equipped, the men you explain shouldn't even be dating. They shouldn't even be.
And I'm the one to tell them. I
they
tell them that every time.
Right.
Like, you're not even in a position where you can date someone, let alone someone like me.
Exactly. So there's no way they compete in the dating pool because they shouldn't be in the dating pool.
But they jump in there anyway. They be sleeping in there because they ain't got nowhere else to sleep.
Y'all should definitely ban them, because if a man doesn't have the means, the ability, first of all, a guy who can't drive you to a date shouldn't be able to plan a date, shouldn't be able to tell you about a date. Most of these guys that
Now,
that
y'all
women
hear
complain
this,
about-
guys? This is coming from a guy.
Yes, it's
So
100%.
when y'all look at us and be like,
No.
y'all don't want no broke man, but y'all want us to get a broke woman. This is coming from a man himself, saying that you shouldn't even be in the date pool trying to date somebody and you're broke. The same thing that we've been trying to tell y'all, but for some reason we're wrong because we don't want to take y'all in like y'all mama and finish breastfeeding y'all until y'all old enough to eat with a fork and a spoon. So
No.
he's saying it.
They shouldn't date. They shouldn't be having sex. They shouldn't actually
Keep your little skeeter weeders and your feeders.
They shouldn't even be approaching women unless they're in a certain position.
What you at the gas station for talking about some hey baby?
Right, exactly. You shouldn't ride a bike or whatever to approach a woman.
Rolled up to my car.
That's
Asking me to roll my window down. Tell them.
right. So when guys come approach women in that fashion, it should be no. Like when women tell me,
You gotta take it old school.
right,
You gotta give them the hand. Jamie Foxx on them. Give them the hand.
so when women tell me that they go further than a first or a second date with a guy who was obviously not equipped to be dating at that point in time, the blame can't fall on that guy anymore. It's got to fall on you for passing up those red flags. Because a lot of these guys, most of these guys, I would probably say 80% of these guys, they're not ready to lead a family, let alone date to be in a relationship. And women, y'all are nurturers. It's in your nature. Y'all sit there and y'all think, okay, I can fix them, I can help them, whatever. I can do this and do that. They need to come ready-made. But a lot of women, when they date guys or whatever, they look at them as, like you said, like right
It's
off
not
their
just
mother's
women.
tip.
It's men as well. A lot of people love trauma bonds.
Yeah.
I am done with trauma bonds. I'm not trying to bond with anyone through shared trauma because, believe it or not, being Black in America, we have a lot of similar traumas. Okay, it's easy to find a connection if you're looking on that level. My level of connection is not trauma bond. Is like way down here. No, I'm not. That's not the bond that I'm looking for. More of an eternal companionship. Not that we both share the same traumas. We both understand death and then grieving and we lost them. That's how a lot of connections are happening. And a lot of connections are happening because you put sex first. Sex leads in the relationship. And like you said, a big booty and some double D's. And with women, you hit that spot one too many times. And we believe we in love.
Definitely.
Yes, we do. Or we definitely believe you love us. And for that, we love you back.
Exactly. And we ignore a lot of the signs. A lot of the signs, the things that we know are good for us or whatever, we don't look for in relationships. We look for excitement. And really in relationships, it's more about stability. It's more about like how me and this person figure out life rather than just the fun parts.
Question. Do you ask that what he bring to the table? Question.
I never ask a woman what she brings to the table because I bring everything to the table for any woman that I date. Every woman that
Not even in your younger years.
every woman I've ever dated has left a relationship with me better than we started dating because that's who I am as a person.
The only way I can be better than what I already am is with a brand new house. So would you like to go ahead? Because if you want to make me better, honey, the one I was looking at cost like 1.2 million.
That's
it's
what you should be
in,
looking for. That's what you should be looking for. I tell women all the time, there's no such thing as a gold digger or whatever. It's standards or whatever. You have standards or whatever.
If I'm already here and I want you to get me to the next level, you can't be down here.
Facts.
Because now I'm gonna have to either I gotta meet you or you gotta meet me. And it's very rare that you're gonna come up here without conflict.
Exactly.
I'm gonna end up coming down here so that we don't have to argue. But you ain't gonna come up here without me doing a whole lot of fighting and arguing and complaining to get you to where you need to be. So what you're gonna do is convince me that it's okay for us to both remain down here. So that's why dating be.
Yeah, it's a terrible. I will admit it's a terrible dating market because
It is peeing there though, because I peed in before I got out.
there's so many people that look for so many things, and it's got to be like a common ground about where we going. And then a lot of women nowadays, it's like they picked up masculine energy as far as dating. Like at the end of the day, women should be women, men should be men. Men
And
should
it's
lead.
not just as far as dating. That goes back to what I was talking about on our last show, where I said women raising sons often lose their femininity. Like
Right.
they start turning more masculine. And that's from personal experience. I'm not projecting nothing on anyone else. This is just me and what I've gone through being the mother of 5 boys. I was real busy teaching them how to change tires, lay drywall, what type of man you should be. And like I have lost touch of like I don't do the nail. I never really liked the nails and the lashes and all that girly stuff that y'all like to do. But I know I can at least put some lotion on my ankles from time to time. But I'm just like a straight dude. Half the days I look like I just got done working on a car. Just got done. Like like I be having drywall, plaster and cement and stuff all on me. Like my days be rough. Like I'm real hood out here in these streets. Real hood.
So with dating, I think it needs to be it's obviously modern dating or whatever now. So it's not old school dating or whatever. It's not like that old school serenade and dating people for 6 months or whatever before you get a kiss and things like that. But I think we need a touch of that in this dating pool because everything is rush without really a plan or a goal. Like me, I'll be honest, whatever. At this stage in my life, whatever, I'm not dating seriously. I date women just for fun and just to hang out. So women I date, I tell them that. I'm like,
I don't date at all.
right. I'm not the person. If you trying to set up shop and build a family and you're trying to do this and that, I'm not the person to date for you. I tell a lot of women that when I meet them and they get mad and they get pissed off because they see me as like, oh, you can be my husband. No. But when you date somebody, it should be something like when you dating seriously, whatever. It should be
someone that you want to potentially be with. Otherwise, I don't see the point. Now, for those of you who are not successfully dating and you are still stuck in the Netflix and chill mode, let me tell y'all about a good restaurant that is on DoorDash and Uber Eats, Big Man's Grill, located at 17521 Illinois, right next to Trade Winds Liquor Store. So, you see, I just summed that up right there, right? I got the food, I got the liquor. Go on in there, get you a honey pack or two. But stop at Big Man's Grill first before you go to Trade Winds Liquor Store and get the honey pack and stuff and the liquor, because you don't want to be drinking on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
Now, the hours of operations are Sunday through Saturday. That's 7 days a week. You can Netflix and chill. Oh, wait. Closed on Mondays.
Right.
6 days a week that you can Netflix and chill right from the comfort of your own home. Right here. Get the food, good food, delicious food. Netflix and chilling at the crib. Because he ain't taking you out. You ain't gonna, at least you can eat good in the crib. That's what I say. I don't know about y'all. That's what I say.
For sure.
Well, we have had a great time with y'all. Me and Jay about to go split up. Because I can't let that slide talking about the right to be kissing like that. And that's why girls got to stick together, especially after the way she just slayed it at the BET Awards. Taraji, just enough. I'm sorry, Miss Henson. Put some respect on your name. I'm busting him up.
J Reed 313, y'all can catch me in these streets.
Simona Lisa, the comedian. Follow me on all social media platforms. Just don't follow me home. I pum people.
Thank you.